And we're live.
Yay!
Look at that. I even said it without singing it.
Yep.
I am like so not centered here in my video. Guess what?
What?
I finally found the other boot so I can finish painting it. So I can actually have
Yay!
a match set, which
That's great.
beats hopping around on one foot.
Or just saying they're supposed to be mismatched. Like,
What?
or saying they're supposed to be mismatched.
Yeah. If I did that, I would be wearing one painted boot like this and one black boot that's falling apart. Would not really even look like it was possibly supposed to be because it's very clearly much older. So what you making tonight?
I'm still working on this zigzag bracelet. I don't know if you remember
Oh
this
yeah.
thing. Like, I'm finally on the third color, trying to show like a good picture. See the light blue there on the edge?
Yeah.
I'm on the second round of that color. So Lisa said she'd be late today, so
And
she's on
indeed
her way.
is. So good to know that she didn't lie. Not that I would ever expect her to, but
I think I know why she's late, but I can't say for sure because I haven't seen her all day.
yeah. Well, not terribly worried about it. I I have I thought that I had read these last time when we didn't meet, that I had read them, and so I was just like saving them for a couple weeks. And then I went to like glance at them today to refresh my memory and discovered I had not read them,
Oh no.
nor had I gone to glance at them with enough time to fully read them. So I read the first chapter and like the beginning of the second chapter.
Yeah, I mostly skimmed the second chapter, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know if we want to wait for Lisa because I don't know how late she's gonna be.
No, no, either. I'm just focused on my rose. Um,
My guess is she had to do something for our brother because she's currently his chauffeur.
so do you want to start the synopsis of the first chapter or you want me to?
I can do it. So, and we last left off where everybody showed up at the house.
Yeah.
Um, and it's all this chapter is just basically talking about what the start of the summer holiday when everybody's there and they have fun and adventures and ends at a party.
Part
Um, there was a lot that went on in this chapter. So much.
Yeah, it was definitely a chapter with a lot of snippet of this conversation, snippet of that conversation.
So starts off with Dan greeting his dog and all of his stuff that he left at the hotel comes and arrives and he starts telling him the stories of his adventures traveling with Blackhawk. Um oh, and his horse, his faithful horse. Uh The name I cannot remember.
Had a double O.
Yeah,
That's all
it's
I
like
remember.
Octo,
What?
Octo, or Octu.
Yeah.
It's like
Octu. Octu sounds
Octoo.
right. Hold on,
Yeah,
let me look.
Octu. Um, and the dog is named Dawn.
Yeah. I love that Dan has a dog named Dom. Yeah, it's Octu.
Yeah, and there's Dan, Nan, and Nat, and then all their names sound for like
Yeah. Octu means lightning,
yeah.
it said.
I think it's a Native American language.
Presumably. Um
Um, I got a knot in my string, and I'm trying to untie it.
so I was thinking while reading that section, I was thinking a lot about my sister's spouse who is Native. Um, and I was thinking about some of the conversations that we've had, because of course, the perspective on how to treat natives and such was very different at the time. And having somebody who's such good friends with them rather than, oh, they're attacking or something was really progressive for the time. But it's still, especially in the hindsight of being in today's society, there are several things that kind of made me cringe, but mostly because my sister's spouse um, has often told me of just parts of their culture that they will not share with outsiders because of it not being handled correctly by people or respectfully by people
Hmm.
and having lost trust. And my sister's spouse trusts me, we're friends. um but it, they still won't share those things with me, not because they don't trust me, but because it's become ingrained in
His culture
culture that they grew up in, that like you just don't share these things with people who aren't.
is because things get taken so out of context, and then they start to get used wrong or almost in a fad like way. Like an improper use of it. And it's really to them almost making a mockery of it, even though people aren't intending it that way.
Yep,
Or
absolutely what it is. I cannot find my blue or my white, and they're the two colors that I need the most.
uh, I have blue and white, but I don't think I can get them to you in
Shove it through the computer, do it.
time.
I
I
mean,
was hoping. So I got one of these a few weeks ago. These
is that one of the bookshelf thing?
yes.
Can you
It's the
open it?
one with it's got the little women's book actually. I think it's on the piano. Yeah, it's on the piano. It's the pink book in the middle on the piano. I don't know if you guys can see it. But uh yeah, it's got the little women's book. That was so awesome that I saw that when I was making it. Like of the 6 books that's in this thing, the little women's series was in there.
I love it.
I was like, it's perfect. But I ordered another one, and I was hoping it would come in this week so I could work on my days off. It's not supposed to come in till today, at like It didn't come in today, but like today to a few days later, so, like the 13th or something. I'm hoping it comes in so I can work on it this weekend.
So
But
sometime between now and next Monday.
yeah, sometime.
Well, I need to make some more soap, and I was supposed to have some soap come in. I mean, not some soap, some um oil come in. The one of the ones that I need. The others that I needed and ordered more of have come, but there's one that was ordered from a different company that was supposed to come in yesterday, and it shipped yesterday.
No.
I was like, so that's not going to be here quite as soon as I was hoping.
Yeah, I ordered my brother's Christmas present the same time as I ordered my sister's. And then I got told that it wouldn't be delivered or shipped until January 6th or like to the 20th. And I was like, excuse me? It'll be
Yeah.
shipped to the 6th. And I'm like, that's really far away. I ordered it in like November. And then I
That's
went on the website and
crazy.
they were still saying that, oh, it can be here by Christmas. And I was like, so people can order it now and it be there by Christmas. But mine's still gonna wait till mid-January.
Don't mind me just moving everything
That logic
in
didn't make much
everybody's
sense.
point of view as I look for this paint.
Oh no, I undid my needle. Oh,
Uh-oh.
my string got caught on my keyboard, that's why. I was like, I didn't yank on the string that hard. My keyboard had my string.
All right. Well, you keep talking. Oh, hey, we have a Lisa.
Oh, do we?
Well, we have Lisa's name. I'm assuming that Lisa is to follow.
She's
There's
coming.
Lisa.
Hi guys.
Hi, welcome.
Sorry I was late.
That's
I,
okay.
I did try to warn you guys in advance. I just didn't expect to be this late.
That's
Okay,
okay.
we haven't done much.
We talked a little bit about chapter one,
The
but
first
we're not all
chapter.
the way through chapter one yet. And I was just about to say, Karen, you can keep talking while I move out of frame to look for the paint that I can't seem to find right here. But before you keep talking, Lisa, if you want to show us what you're working on tonight, if you are.
Oh, I'm working on a project of sorts. I am sorting my earrings so that I can do my 365 days different earrings thing that I've been wanting to do. So, I mean, I've got these lovely ones that Caroline gave me for Christmas.
Ooh,
I got these poinsettias that Karen gave me last year. I guess
yep.
in 23, sorry. And I got some of these I got from my Secret Santa this year. And I'm just kind of like, I forgot my tote that has all my organized ones already. So I'm like, well, these ones aren't organized, so I'll go through them. I gotta
Sorry.
figure out which ones are broken. Like, this one's broken. I need your purple jump rings, Karen, because this one broke.
Oh, was it one of mine that I made, or was it just
No,
a
it's one of the ones I bought off of Mel.
Yeah, I had purple jump rings, yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Aren't these ones so cute?
they are so cute.
White and blue. Huzzah!
You found
Huzzah!
them.
So, speaking of found, Lisa, I already told Karen and whomever may be watching, but I finally found the other shoe so that I can,
I saw that on your post. I
yeah.
shared it. I was like, yay, she found her other shoe.
Well, I never assume whether somebody saw something that I posted or not. So.
I usually don't see it till after, but because I think I was in the car, I was able to see it before.
But
So,
look, there are two of them.
yay!
It's
Can you
about
believe they
number
started out white?
It's hard to believe. You did a good job shading them.
All right, now I can actually have some highlights on these petals.
See, I have earrings I haven't even worn. Like I just opened 6 pairs I haven't worn yet. And I've got these two that I got on clearance. from Walmart that I haven't worn yet. These ones
And
are, yeah,
then
they're
there's the 6 pairs I got you in your advent calendar, or the 5 pair I got you in your advent calendar.
I wore them.
Oh, you did wear this.
And then I got these. I thought these would be bigger than they are, but they're supposed to be axolotls. They're just very, very tiny axolotls.
They're axolotls,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not a
And
lot.
they got little hearts in their hands. It's cute. But they're very tiny. And
Well,
I showed these, Caroline, while you were back with Tram. I was like, I got these ones.
yeah, I was still here when you held those up.
Okay, good.
All right, so
Back to the book.
as we were saying, they were having a party after their summer vacation, summer holiday.
Yep.
I wonder when we stopped saying holiday and started saying vacation in America, because they're in America, but they were saying holiday.
I don't know. I know they still say holiday in the UK.
I know. And I read so much British stuff that's set in this time period or earlier that when I see holiday, my brain is immediately like, oh yeah, that's what they called it back then. And then I was like, no, that's what they call it in England. But apparently also in America they still called it that back then. Oh. Oh, I forgot. Um, I don't know. You guys might already know this. But I did not know what what a deer hound is. I mean, I know
Okay.
what a hound is, obviously, but I did not know what a deer hound is.
Right.
They are huge, just in case you're wondering.
Are they like greyhounds?
They're very similar to a greyhound, but they're shaggier. Well, I was trying to get this where I can show you, but there we go. All right. So I'm gonna maybe, possibly, if I talk about it for 3 to 5 minutes first, maybe I will manage to share my screen.
It's loading. Loading. Ooh.
So
Oh, that's cute.
they're like somewhere between a shepherd and a greyhound,
Yeah.
A cute dog.
but they definitely have that shagginess because when I looked up deerhound, now I don't know, there could be other kinds of deerhound. The only kind of deerhound I could find was this, which was specifically called a Scottish deerhound. So the Scotty look makes sense, but it's like a Scotty mixed with a greyhound and huge. So yeah, this is what I do when I'm reading. It's also why I don't finish reading stuff that quickly because I go through perpetually Googling what's what's a deerhound? What was this at that time period? Was this word used the same way that it is now? Anyway, so they were at their party
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll try
and
not to make too much noise.
all
Like, get out of there, kitty cat.
the remaining original sisters were dancing with a bunch of the college kids. And then Joe was Joe and ended up with a torn dress. That was somebody else's fault, and yet still was Joe being Joe. and in the process of Meg helping her fix it, they got joking about um how she's gonna be so fat and stuff, but it didn't seem like it was in like a fat shamey way, because of course that wasn't necessarily seen the same way then as today. But it was just joking around as far as I could tell. I don't know if that seemed the same to you guys as it did to me or not.
Yeah.
Um, and then um Teddy came over, Teddy Laurie, not Teddy Child. Um, and got Joe to go with him to see some lovely tableaus. And
Wh-
those
Which took me a second to remember what tableaus were. Um,
So do you want to define that for anybody who doesn't know?
I'm just gonna give my remembrance of what it is because I didn't actually look it up. But the like scenes where people just sit there and do like they stand or like sit in their pose and someone will say a line or something, but the people are just posed in a scene, and it's like people from the party.
It
Just
can be. It can also just be like a diorama or something. It doesn't have to be a live action tableau. But yeah, I've seen like
I don't know what a tableau is, so you guys are educating me.
now you know.
I'm trying to see. I saw it in something once, and I can't remember, but it was like it took me a second to realize that's what it was.
When I
Because I
think of
thought
a
they were
tableau, I
paintings.
always think of the um of Night at the Museum and the different um like people behind the windows, where like
Oh,
Sacagawea is behind one, and um yeah, that's what I always think of when I
Hmm.
think of a tableau.
I watched a movie or something once where there was like there were people doing it, but I can't remember what it was or what. But it's like I remember it and it's stuck in my head. So
But yes, it is also
oh,
an acted out scene sometimes. I've seen both referred to as a tableau. But I love they jump ahead just slightly, but I love that after they go through looking at all the different tableaus, that Joe's like, "Hey, we should just like do this, like tour people through to see different scenes like this and have people set up like this." Joe always thinking.
mm-hmm.
yep.
Um, and then yeah, and then and then backing up, and then before, um, the actual scenes that she saw. Now, the first one was that Emil that was there reciting the poem to all the girls? Because it just said that like he said um that he was titling this one some I think it was like Jack Ashore. The name of this is Jack Ashore. Um but the way that they described it was like long blue legs ending in very neat pumps hanging from the veranda roof among the vines, and roses gathered by unseen hands, and then a manly voice. But they never actually said who it was. But
Yeah,
because he said Jack Ashore, I kind of assumed it was probably Emil.
or it could be Jack.
The various names that he used all seemed metaphorical and didn't really have the exact name of whoever was
Right.
involved.
It could have been Emil, but it never said.
And it feels like we're supposed to know, but I don't know. and that was kind of bugging me.
I know that poor Dan didn't have any dress outfit and had to wear his Mexican costume.
Poor Dan was so much happier to be in his traditional Mexican clothes than wearing a stuffy suit.
Right?
Not that I blame him.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Um, so yeah, there was the it might have been Nat also because Nat's about to leave and he was singing. But Nat he doesn't usually sing, right? He just plays
No, he plays the
music.
violin
I don't know.
usually.
Um, but at any rate, um, the actual song that he was singing was quite sad. The
Uh, it was Mary's dream, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it
Mm.
was this guy.
Don't cry for me.
I don't know if it was somebody she was in love with or what.
It said it was her younger self at one point. Like,
Uh, I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to.
it's
Um,
a wondering if it's the loss of a childhood or something.
no, it says that she saw young Sandy. Sandy's capitalized as a name.
Oh, my brain must have thought Sandy was her and connected that as a little younger her.
Um,
Yep.
I don't know. I thought that it was like somebody that she had been in love with or something,
Or a
or maybe a sibling or
sibling.
something. But it says, 3 stormy nights and stormy days we tossed upon the raging main, and long we strove our bark to save, but all the striving was in vain. E'en then, when terror chilled my blood, my heart was filled with love of thee. The storm is past, and I'm at rest. So, Mary, weep no more for me.
Aw.
Yeah, a lost loved
But
one.
yeah, that's the whole song. Like, all of it is just focused on Mary dreamed that he came to talk to her and told her to stop crying for him because he was at rest and she needed to be at peace. And I was like, this is what he's singing that has all these girls feeling all romantic?
That doesn't make me feel romantic. That makes me feel sad.
Exactly. And then they were commenting
Oh,
about the constant jollity of that boy.
Karen, do you remember these ones?
I do. Those are one of my 4th of July ones.
Yeah. Sorry, it's like
Oh, you're
finding treasure chests.
good.
If my shop is up and running in July or June or July, I will be selling those again. But I don't know if my shop's gonna be up and running.
I'm hoping to get
So,
mine up and running soon, but I'm honestly kind of just like, I got so overwhelmed with Christmas. I'm just taking some time.
so for anybody watching who, doesn't know this about Lisa, she has more
So
than enough
many
earrings
additions.
to wear one a day for a year. That is what her whole sorting these out project here is figuring out what to wear each day for 365 days.
She
Yep.
has an
A lot of
addition,
earrings.
and
Which
And
I
we keep
really,
giving her more.
I really wanted to start this on the first, but as you can tell, I am behind. Look, our supervisor's kid made these for me. Remember?
oh,
I
those are cute.
Yes, now that you're saying it, I'm remembering, but I had forgotten.
I'm trying to be vague because, names.
Yeah.
But yeah, she also made me some origami cranes to wear, and I think I only have one of them.
Those are the ones that I remember better.
Yeah. These ones he kind of gave to me like pick one, and I did. He had like 3 pairs for me to choose from. Because he had told her that I loved them, and so she made me more.
Those kids are so sweet, every single one of
Oh,
them.
they really are.
Um, So the next tableau, the next thing that they saw when they went to look out a different window was he said he would call it Othello telling his adventures to Desdemona. Um and um it was Mr. March, Dan, and Bess sitting, and he was telling her stories of his adventures. Not to be, a little too on the nose with it or anything. And um he they were all sitting there, but the way that they could see them kind of left Mr. March in shadow. So it was primarily like they could see that he was there, but it was primarily Dan and Bess framed in the window. And then I was curious what you two think is going to happen with this because I absolutely do not remember. I have a guess, but I don't remember for sure. But um Joe says, I'm glad he's going away. He's too picturesque to have here among so many romantic girls. Afraid his grand, gloomy, and peculiar style will be too much for our simple maids. In other words, all the girls are falling in love with him. And Lori was like, no danger. Dan is in the rough as yet and always will be, I fancy, though he is improving in many ways. How well Queenie looks in the soft light. And Joe said, dear little Goldilocks looks well everywhere. But frequently thought back on that and her own prophetic words also. What do you think was prophetic about her words? What do you think is going to end up happening that makes her feel like those words were prophetic?
The fact that Goldie,
What?
that Goldie, I called her Goldie. That the dark, mysterious man that Dan is being all quiet because he's gone quiet to curb his language. So he's kind of like the handsome, dark stranger. And that's the kind of men that Bess will probably end up with. I don't know. That'd be my guess.
That's kind of what I'm guessing too.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure if it will be Bess specifically or if it will be somebody else, but I think it's clear that it will be somebody, but my inclination was Bess.
Yeah, but
Which
she's
seems a
like,
little odd because there's quite the age
what
gap
the
there.
age gap.
yeah, she was like 3 or 4 when he was a teenager, and it's just like,
But also I have some friends at church that um I literally have a picture of 'cause the male in this couple was her little brother's friend, and they have a picture of them at her brother's birthday party when her now husband and her brother were 3 and she was 13. And that age gap is so much less once you're an adult. Um, and it's not an issue for them. But that's now. And in the 1800s, it was much less looked strangely upon for people to have a bigger age gap.
Right.
No. The thing is, he's so brooding and so serious, but he's also a wanderer. And I could see his brooding nature being good for Bess, but I don't see how they would make a home together. But I guess we'll have to wait and see which way that plays out, because I do not remember.
yeah.
Um, so then the third site he called the Wounded Knight. When Tom had a
Yeah,
thorn in his hand and Nan was working on getting it out, and basically all the romantic things he was trying to say to her, she was going, yeah, whatever, you still smell funny. And we're from, oh yeah, we forgot to mention that he tried to straighten his hair, slick it down, and much like my eldest child's hair, it would not slick down. It ended up curling tighter with the stuff that was supposed to slick it down. And also smelled like, how do they say it? 3 or 4 barbershops together or something like that.
yeah.
And nothing he did would get rid of the smell. So she was going, whatever, you still smell funny, and yeah, I'm gonna help you when you're injured, but I'm not gonna take long. And he's going, hours if you please, never so happy as here. And she's just like, whatever, it's just a splinter, there it is. And
Will you bind it for me? And she's like, "Oh, come back with an infection tomorrow." Like,
well, he says, once you bind it up, and she's like, just suck on it, but take care of it tomorrow if you dissect anything. We don't want any more blood poisoning. Which implies that there was previous blood poisoning, especially since he then says, that was the only time you were kind to me.
Oh.
Wish I'd lost my arm. Um,
Nan very much does not want to date Tom, but Tom is very much in love with Nan.
yeah, I wonder, um, if,
I wonder how
keep
that's gonna
these
play.
ones.
what?
Huh?
Think I should keep these ones. I've never worn them, but they don't have much frame to them at all.
Do they need it when they're just hanging from your ears?
I guess not.
They look pretty sturdy to me. I mean,
They're
They
pretty.
are. They've lasted many years in my storage. Better than some of these earrings.
So yeah, my inclination is that he's always there, always seeking her attention, and she doesn't want that attention when he's always there. But if he weren't, I
She missed
suspect that
him.
she would miss him a lot more than she thinks she would.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think so too.
But that is not the conclusion that Joe and Lori reach. They reach the conclusion that Tom is going to need a wake-up call to figure out that he really needs to just leave her alone and move on with his life. And
Well, he
she
needs
wonders
to, so
what
that
that will
she'll
come in
realize
the form of.
he does need to move on so that she realizes she likes having him around.
Yeah. See, that's
And
what
if she
I would
doesn't, at
tell
least she's
him
moved on.
is, if you can find something else to do with your life, one of two things will happen. She may decide that she wants you after all, or you may end up moving on. But if you don't find something else to do with your life, neither of those things is going to happen.
It's like that saying, if you truly love it, let it go, and if it loves you back, it'll come back. Something like that.
Yeah.
I forget the second half of that, but if you truly
It's
love it, let it go.
if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours forever. If it doesn't come
It
back,
was never
it's
yours
never
to
yours to
begin with.
begin with.
Yeah.
There are several variants of it, but that's the gist. Um,
Oh, my dancing reindeer. Dancing reindeer.
Dancing reindeer.
Sorry, guys.
but you're good.
I'm easily distracted.
Hi. Don't know if you've met me.
Oh, it's a broken one. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're only going to look at chapter 5 today.
Why
Because
is it almost 8 o'clock
we're
already?
running out of time, and I never actually finished chapter 6, and
Well,
Sharon, you said you didn't either, right?
I did finish it.
Oh,
Yes.
you did? I thought you said you hadn't. Must have
I
misheard.
didn't have time to read either
I
chapter,
skimmed it,
which is why
though.
I'm sitting here in the silence.
I skimmed it, so I don't know much of what happened.
Yeah, so
know, like-
let's just hold off on chapter 6 until next week.
Do 6 and
Um,
7 next week?
I mean next session.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. One of the things that bothers me still is that during this conversation, during this chapter, we do also see that, Nat is still after Daisy, and Daisy still likes Nat, but she's trying to obey her mother and stay away from
I think we
Nat.
saw that a little bit more at the beginning of the next chapter, which is the only
Yeah.
part of the next chapter that I read. But yeah, I did see that a little bit in this chapter too. And yes, that bothers me also.
It's like she was the one who went against their great aunt's marches, their
Marching orders?
to be with John, and now she won't. Who hadn't made much of him, who was starting to make something of himself, but she won't even let Nat make something of himself first. She's convinced that Nat's no good for her Daisy, and it's like, do you not remember?
Crystal.
Like, do you not remember?
Evidently, she does not.
Well, we do.
We do. I don't know what this was supposed to be, but it kind of looks like a chili pepper. And I know that's not what I painted on here
Chili pepper.
when I was blocking stuff out.
It wasn't like a rosebud or something?
I don't know. It's going to become something else because it's not going to be a chili pepper. And that's all I'm seeing with my blocking here.
Chili
Is it a
pepper.
strawberry?
Oh no, that's a broken pear.
Now,
I'm trying to sell my broken pears that I can repair.
I
Speaking of
will
repair,
say
I got my
I've been trying to work on this just during bookcraft, but because I have been missing this particular boot for so long, I'm thinking I'm going to try to finish it up before the next session because I want to wear these boots while it's still boot wearing season.
Right?
Okay, so there was the last scene confused me a little bit. It had something to do with Teddy. Was it? No, it wasn't.
there's
Wasn't
Teddy
Teddy, it
and
was
Rob, and
Oh, it was Teddy.
Teddy was
Trying to
standing
stand on one
on
foot.
something.
Trying to stand on one foot on a old stool and like balance, and Josie and a bunch of the others were watching and encouraging him to try to balance there as long as he could. And then he fell and then did some
He broke the stool. He didn't just fall.
random dance instead, and it was just a little extra random even compared to the others. The way that it reads almost felt like, well, we had these 3 tableaus and oh look, there's a 4th one out here. I didn't know that one was there because it just seems so spontaneous and not like he could have planned for that one. But that might just be my impression of it.
I can't fix that one.
Nice.
I can't fix it.
No?
You don't have the
I thought you
gem?
said you fixed it.
It's missing the gem.
It's missing a gem.
What?
See, it's
What
got
do you-
4 red petals. It's missing a 5th red petal. See, it's missing one of the gems.
Where did I put my... Oh, there it is. Let me see. Next time you come over, bring that. I might have a slot in my gem resin mold that's approximately the same size that I could replace it.
If I find that, oh, it just feels like if I find its mate, which I just did, then yes, I will.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
put them in my to be fixed bag.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, bring them next time and we can see if that's the right size for me to mix up a resin pedal for it.
Awesome. Thank you.
So
I hate getting rid of some of my
'cause-
favorites.
I was gonna say, because the last thing we need is for you to not have as many earrings.
Oh, I have so many.
She has an addiction.
know
and
what.
not
What would you
consuming it.
do if you lost some earrings? You'd have nothing to wear.
During the Christmas season, I got 7, 11, 12 pairs of earrings.
I
During the
want 7,
holidays.
11, 12 earrings.
Huh?
I said I want 7, 11, 12 earrings. Um,
Oh no, they're the same.
so, then it goes to George and Dolly. Now, they have once again referred to whichever 2 people couldn't come as 2 of Joe's failures. And I still have no idea why. They referred to them that way in future terms in the last book, and we had a discussion about it for a while. And I still don't know why they're considered failures. Clearly, they're forgettable. Because I
think it's because
can't
they
even
didn't
remember
turn
who
out
they
to
are.
be the jump. They didn't take the lessons like all the other boys did. Like
Yeah.
Jack still kept getting in trouble all the time.
One of them was the money hungry one, right?
There was Stuffy. He never.
No, Stuffy's here. One of them, like it wasn't Stuffy. One of them had Stuffy's hungry, but not money hungry. It was the one that was like greedy, money hungry. His uncle was like a con man or something, and
Wasn't there one that stole and blamed it on Dan?
I think that was Jack.
yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, there was 2 of them that weren't there, and they're considered 2 of Joe's failures. But reading Dolly and George's conversation, was like, are you sure that these aren't your failures? Go off to Harvard and suddenly think that they're better than everybody else and looking down on women when Joe raised them?
Yeah.
I never liked co-eds, blah, blah, blah. And like describing them as having like condescending voices and way of speaking as though they're like trying to put on airs and put themselves above everybody. And I was getting so annoyed with them.
You're like, I'm done.
And then the next scene when Nat lights into all the ones around her, they weren't there. And I was just like, we're missing 2 people who need to be hearing this conversation the most.
Yeah, during the lawyer scene, or not the lawyer, the judgment scene.
Yeah. But at any rate, they're busy stuffing their faces and trying to look like they're not, talking about how it's just not right that these girls are eating so much, and that clearly indicates that they shouldn't be at college like the boys should because they're good, hardworking men, but the boys, blah, 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 I want to puke. and, and then, yeah, and then it went to a couple of girls from the college who are sitting there talking about, and I thought this was a really interesting juxtaposition to that, as they're sitting there going, girls shouldn't be learning and blah blah blah, and then it's like the girls are just sitting there going, I almost feel like I'm not dressed well enough, but if you ask Mrs. Brooke for help, she'll help you learn how to make some alterations to your outfit so that you won't feel out of place. And if you ask Mr. Lawrence for help, he'll help you with this. And if you ask Mrs. Joe for help, she'll help you with this. And really highlighting how, like, it's not just like there are very definitely girls at this college like Nan who just want to be um educated in the thing that they want to do, but there are also girls there who just need to learn and grow and have somebody pour a little bit more into their lives, and all of the older people here are doing that for them, and it's so much more than just an education. Or is it so much more than just a traditional kind of education, at least? Um, and then it goes to um the whole group of I love this description. Now come to a lively party, supping on the stairs. Girls like foam at the top and a substratum of youths below where the heaviest particles always settle. I love that description. Like the girls float to the top and the boys sink to the bottom of the stairs where they're sitting.
Yep.
Um, and that's where they had their little trial. As they were talking about um the boys at school and the ones that would be leaving, and um Nan was feeling unusually gracious as Tom's mishap was keeping him from annoying her. He had a single thorn in his hand, but whatever. Um, and so then, as they're talking about it, um, and Daisy's talking about how handsome Nat looks and everything, and Nan's kind of complaining about how absurd Tom is, wasting his time, making an object of himself just because he can't have what he wants, like a baby crying for the moon. I have no patience with such nonsense. And Daisy's like, most girls would be touched by such fidelity. I think it's beautiful. And she goes, you are a sentimental goose and not a judge. And um tells him, Nat's gonna be twice the man he is when he comes back from his trip, and I wish that Tom would go on a trip like that and learn more about him. If we girls have any influence, we should use it for the good of the boys, not pamper them and make slaves of ourselves and tyrants of them. Let them prove what they can do and be before they ask anything of us, and give us a chance to do the same. And then Alice Heath, who is of a very similar nature to Nan and chose to pursue a career rather than just trying to, she's not there for her MRS degree. And so
people
she's like,
are.
here, only give us a chance and have patience till we can do our best. Now we're expected to be as wise as men who have had generations of all the help there is, and we scarcely anything. Let us have equal opportunities, and in a few generations we will see what the judgment is. I like justice, and we get very little of it. And so Demi pops up and is like, oh, you're shouting the battle cry of freedom? I'll stand with you. And they get into a whole conversation about suffragettes and the women's suffrage movement, and start making each of the boys present answer the single question of whether they are for women's suffrage, women's suffrage. And Nan complains about a meeting that she had gone to that was supposed to be a women's suffragette meeting, but was so boring and so bad. Like all the speakers were so horrible, and all the speakers that she keeps referencing were men talking about women needing suffrage. And I was like, that's why the speakers were so horrible. But that definitely was a real thing that would happen. So she would ask, do you believe in women's suffrage? And Commodore Emil says, bless your pretty figurehead. I cannot figure out what figure means in this instance. Bless your pretty figurehead, I do. Pretty.
I think there's an accent because it keeps saying in it, like N apostrophe T. I think it's supposed to be
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, but I was trying to figure
So,
out like figure. I cannot figure out what it's supposed to be. Um, but he says, I do, and I'll ship a crew of girls anytime you say so. Aren't they worse than a press gang to carry a fellow out of his moorings? Don't we all need one as a pilot to steer us safe to port? And why shouldn't they share our mess afloat and ashore, since we are sure to be wrecked without them? And, um, and then they ask Dan, and he says, all you can get, and I'll fight any, if women should have liberty, as Dan's so in love with liberty himself, and he says, all you can get, and I'll fight any man who's mean enough to say you don't deserve it. And so then Nan says that Nat wouldn't dare say he was on the other side, even if he were. Um, but after she says that, but she hopes that he'll make up his mind to pipe for them when they take the field and not be one of those who waits till the battle is won and then beat the drums to share the glory. But then she feels bad for saying it because it's clear from his face that he was on their side all along anyway,
Aww.
which I never would have expected otherwise of Nat.
I know, right?
I feel like most of the ones raised by Joe would be for,
Except for George and Dolly.
I said most.
I don't know what's wrong with them. Harvard broke them
Not
clearly.
everybody smart, okay?
And so then they say, Nan says, Thomas B. Bangs, come into court and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth if you can. And I did forget to mention that when Nan started on her soapbox, Tom opened an umbrella to hide behind as though to shield himself from the force of her words. So he closes the umbrella and stands up, raising a hand and solemnly telling them, I believe in suffrage of all kinds, I adore all women, and will die for them at any moment if it will help the cause. And Nan, in one of the more brilliant responses, I think, says, living and working for it is harder and therefore more honorable. Men are always ready to die for us, but not to make our lives worth having. Cheap sentiment and bad logic. You will pass, Tom, only don't twaddle. And then they, with a few words of medical advice, girls don't sit in drafts and boys beware of ice water when you're warm. They close the meeting and go off to enjoy dancing instead. It is quite amusing, in my opinion. Yeah. So that's chapter 5, and it's a good thing that we're holding off on chapter 6 till next week because it is 8 o'clock now.
Chapter 5 was a really long chapter.
It was a really long chapter.
So just a couple things before we get off
Mm-hmm.
that I found. I found these. I totally forgot about these.
Oh, those are ones
I
had.
remember those. I made those for you for Christmas the Christmas before
Christmas
last
is
Christmas. I was gonna say
Yeah.
last year, but technically
And-
last year was the Christmas that was just a couple weeks ago.
I used to have a pair of each of these, orange and red, but I lost each one of each, so I've been wearing them as mismates. But while sorting my earrings,
You just found the other ones.
I found their mates.
Yay! I like them. I like them mismatched though. Also, they match your shirt nicely.
They do.
They look
Yeah, I
nice.
think I might
mismatched.
keep them mismatched, but I think they're cute.
I got that rose done
Yay!
and part of that clock done, and I started turning the random chili pepper into a tulip instead.
Nice.
I got half a row done.
I found this many pairs of earrings, and I still have a whole chunk here to go. And I'm gonna say this is probably 2/3 of my stock of earring. A little more than half. Yep.
Whoa,
Yeah, that sounds right. All right.
Well,
Well,
what I still have in the case, yeah.
our next session will be on January 21st.
Yay.
Funny, this week was 2 days before my sister's birthday, and next session will be 2 days before my nephew's birthday.
Cool.
And until looking at that and noticing that because of looking at this date, I have never realized that their birthdays are exactly 2 weeks apart. Um, so, um, once we have read these chapters, which I will try to do earlier, we can determine based on their length whether we want to do 6 and 7 next time or just 6 or which way we want to do this. But
Okay.
we'll do at least 6 and maybe 7. 6 is called Last Words, which is funny because it's not even close to the end of the book.
it's about them preparing to leave on the journey after the holiday.
I was gonna say, but I'm pretty sure it's last words said to Nate before he goes on his journey, and Nat before he goes on his journey, and possibly other people. I don't remember who else was leaving. There are so many names. I really enjoy these books, but there are so many names.
I do because I read the chapter. It's a short one, so I think you might be able to put 7 in.
Read the chapter all the
I
way
read the
through.
chapter.
She was actually on Zoom before I was.
Wow.
She's batting 1,000 right now, let me tell you. All right.
Okay.
So I think that's it for today. So everybody say bye.